Before you opened this video, your fingerprints were already touching something. They look ordinary. Most people never think about them, but every swirl tells a story that began before your first breath. Not one person in history has ever had fingerprints exactly like yours, not even an identical twin. How is that possible? Your DNA helps shape them, but DNA is only the beginning. The rest is decided by tiny accidents inside the womb. Long before you opened your eyes, your hands were already changing forever. Around the 6th week of pregnancy, your hands looked nothing like they do now. They were small, smooth paddles. Then, something remarkable happened. Tiny pads of tissue appeared beneath each fingertip. Scientists call them volar pads. These soft bumps would quietly determine the general flow of every fingerprint you would ever have. If the pads were high, one pattern became more likely. If they were flatter, another pattern often appeared. But the story was far from finished. As your fingers continued growing, the outer layer of skin expanded faster than the layers beneath it. Imagine trying to fit a large blanket onto a much smaller mattress. The surface had nowhere to go, so it folded. Those folds became ridges. Every tiny change in pressure created a different path. The amount of amniotic fluid mattered. Your exact position inside the womb mattered. The speed your fingers grew mattered. Even microscopic movements mattered. No one controlled those tiny events. They simply happened. That is why fingerprints become so unique. Two identical twins share almost all of their DNA, yet they never share identical fingerprints. Their genes create similar starting conditions, but the tiny physical forces surrounding each baby are never exactly the same. A slight difference in pressure, a small shift in position, a tiny change in growth, that is enough to create a completely different map of ridges. In the early 20th century, scientists began studying these mysterious patterns more carefully. Researchers discovered 3 major fingerprint families: loops, whorls, arches. About 65% of people have loops, around 30% have whorls, only about 5% have arches. But even within these groups, every fingerprint remains unique. The ridges split. They end suddenly. They curve. They form tiny islands. These details are called minutiae. A single fingertip contains dozens of them. Together, they create a pattern so unlikely that matching 2 unrelated fingerprints is considered practically impossible. For thousands of years, humans noticed fingerprints without understanding them. Ancient potters accidentally left them in wet clay. Builders pressed them into bricks. Merchants even used fingerprints to seal important documents. But nobody realized they could identify a person forever. That changed in the 19th century. A Scottish doctor named Henry Faulds noticed fingerprints left on ancient pottery in Japan. He wondered if every person carried a different pattern. Soon afterward, Sir Francis Galton studied thousands of fingerprints. His research showed they remained stable throughout life. Cuts could heal, skin could peel. But unless the deepest layer was destroyed, the original ridges always returned. That discovery transformed criminal investigations forever. Today, fingerprint scanners unlock phones in less than a second. Border officers verify identities within moments. Forensic experts compare tiny ridge endings invisible to the naked eye. The same patterns formed before birth now protect bank accounts, secure airports, and solve crimes. All because of random events inside the womb. Perhaps the strangest part is this: your fingerprints have almost no purpose for identification in nature. They were not designed as personal ID cards. Their ridges improve grip. They help your fingers sense tiny vibrations when touching surfaces. Research has shown these ridges make delicate touch more sensitive. Nature solved a practical problem. Humans later turned that solution into one of history's most powerful identification tools. Every object you touch receives a silent reminder that you were there. A coffee mug, a keyboard, a door handle, a book. Each contact leaves behind traces too small to notice. You rarely think about them, yet they quietly record your presence throughout the world. Your fingerprints are more than patterns. They are frozen moments from before you were born. A permanent record of millions of microscopic events that will never happen the same way again. The next time you look at your hand, remember this: you are looking at a map that nature drew only once, and it will never draw another exactly like it.